Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's question comes from a house cleaner who owns a house cleaning business, and she wants to volunteer some time to help clean the house of someone who's undergoing depression. And she wants to know, is it insensitive for me to offer to clean this lady's house for free? All right, before I answer that question, I need to make a disclaimer. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a house cleaner. And I have spent 25 years working with lots and lots of people who are experiencing depression. And so from one house cleaner to another, here's my 2 cents. Yes, you can volunteer. That would be a lovely gesture. It would be very kind of you to offer to help her clean her house. But in understanding depression, there are a couple of things that you have to be aware of. You don't want to take away the independence of the person that has depression, because one of the reasons they are depressed is because they're having self-esteem issues. Their house, if it's a mess, and it most likely is a mess, they are feeling inadequate already because they don't feel like cleaning their house. People who are undergoing depression, and there are varying levels of depression. So there's mild depression and then there's severe depression. At the severe depression level, there are people sitting there watching TV while rats and mice are running in front of them. There will be food and food crumbs and food remnants everywhere. There will be bottles of soda and Big Gulps and things like that that have been left uncovered. And there will be ants and all kinds of other things that have crept into the homes of some of these people. And they're sitting there watching TV and they don't care. They don't have the energy to get up and clean their own house. So when you're volunteering to come in and clean their house, while it's a lovely gesture, and while you want to reach out and you want for them the lifestyle that they deserve, they need to also want that for themselves. Because if they say, yes, come clean my house, and then they sit there and they watch TV the whole time that you're cleaning, you're going to feel like you're being abused, especially because you do this every day for a living. You get paid really good money to come into someone's house. And so if you're coming in for free, and this is a charitable offer that you're doing, be 100% clear inside your head why you're doing this. Are you doing this for the person, or are you doing it for yourself? If you're doing it for yourself so that you feel better about yourself, make sure that's why you're doing it. Not because you want to change someone else's life, because if they don't want to change, it doesn't make any difference. You'll come back 2 weeks later and the house will be the same. Now, if you're doing it because it's a social services case and the kids that live in the house are going to be removed if the house doesn't get cleaned up a little bit, that's a different situation. So be crystal clear about why you're doing it. Are you doing it for the person that's depressed? Are you doing it for the kids? Or are you doing it for yourself? Now, if you're doing it for any of these reasons, whatever the reasons are, now you need to go back and you need to decide what your boundaries are, because the person that's depressed doesn't have any boundaries. And so the boundaries don't stop when you clean the house. By the way, I'm hungry. I haven't fixed anything in a week in my house. Can you go to the grocery store for me? And because out of the goodness of your heart, if you're doing it for you because you want to feel better about what you're doing, yeah, I'll be happy to run to the grocery store for you. And then they say, oh, by the way, I don't have any money. Can you pay for the groceries as well? Hey, I don't have a ride somewhere. Can you give me a ride? And so without boundaries, your offer to help clean their house has transitioned now into a series of other freebies where you are giving and giving and giving, and they are taking and taking and taking, and there's nothing in return. So out of the goodness of your heart, you're now being taken advantage of. And now resentment and regret sets in. And so if I could tell you about this in advance, at least you can see it coming when it happens. So you need to be crystal clear about what your boundaries are. How much are you going to be able to help? Are you going to be able to help 2 days a week at 2 hours a pop? And if that's it, make sure that's it. You run a business, you have employees to deal with, you have a family to take care of, you have your own lifestyle and your own problems you need to take care of. If you only have 2 days, 2 hours per time to help this particular family, that's all you have to give. And so when you arrive to help them clean their house, you say, listen, I have 2 hours. What are your top priorities in the next 2 hours? That's all I have to give. And then at the end of the 2 hours, cut yourself off and go home. It doesn't matter how bad the situation is, and it doesn't matter what the cares and concerns are. Because what happens is this, again, out of the goodness of your heart, you want to help these people. That's an intrinsic desire that we have. We want to all help each other, right? But what happens then is because you're wanting to help, and because there are no boundaries and it drifts a little bit, you end up taking care of this other family that's undergoing depression at the neglect of your own. And so you're staying longer, you're fixing meals, you're taking meals in, you're buying food, you're running errands, you're cleaning house. But what about your own house? And then your own kids have resentment. And they say, wow, our mom doesn't love us because now she's helping this other family when she could be here helping us. And so there's a domino effect of your kindness being misdirected at somebody who may not even want your help. And I say they may not want your help because a lot of times people that are really depressed, they will take whatever you give them. But there needs to be something coming back. If I come to your house and I come to help you clean, you need to help me clean while I'm there. You don't get to sit there eating potato chips and watching television while I'm there cleaning up mice poo. That's not how that works. If you want my help, I will come. I have 2 hours to give you on Wednesday morning at 1 o'clock. And this happens a lot. You get there Wednesday at 1 o'clock and they're not home. And then they call you at 4 o'clock and say, hey, I had to go run some errands. Can you come over now? I'm sorry, I don't have it to give. I had a 2-hour window. You blew it. You weren't home. I couldn't get in. And so you have to be really clear about the boundaries you set, because what you're dealing with is a scenario that has perpetuated itself through depression, and it just keeps getting worse because there are no boundaries. Now, the person that you're dealing with needs mental care. They need some help from somewhere, and it may require an intervention. It may require people helping from the church. It may require family members helping. It may require neighbors. There are a variety of places that you can delegate that help if you truly want to help this family. But you have to realize right up front, what are your reasons why? Because it's not your responsibility to go rescue another family. It's not your responsibility, even if that person is a family member. That person might be a family member and you might be related to them, but it is not your responsibility to rescue anyone, okay? So what are your reasons why? I love the fact that you want to help. That just says that you're a really good person and you have a really good nature about you and you see a need and you want to jump in and give. And I love that about you. So congratulations on that. But think about it very, very carefully before you open up a can of worms that you can't contain once it gets out of control. Set your boundaries and be very, very clear about what you're doing and why. All right, so that's my 2 cents. All righty, and until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.